If you're over 60, this one little thing you do every day could raise your stroke risk while you sleep. Nothing hurts. Nothing warns you. One day you're perfectly healthy and suddenly your arm won't work, you can't speak properly, or you lose your balance. As someone who's spent years studying brain health in older adults, I've seen far too many cases where a simple vitamin routine becomes a silent threat. What used to help can now hurt, and the vitamin companies aren't telling you this because frankly they don't have to. Today I'm revealing which common vitamin millions of seniors take daily that's actually triggering these dangerous symptoms and sending thousands to the emergency room each year. Stay with me because what I'm about to share could be the difference between a peaceful night's sleep and waking up unable to speak clearly. Waking up with bad headaches that weren't there when you were younger? Hands shaking when they used to be steady? Speech that's a little off, enough that your grandkids ask if you're okay? Your body might be getting hurt by a vitamin you completely trust. Vitamin D, or well known as the sunshine vitamin. Good for your bones. Your doctor probably told you to take it. But after 60, your body works differently. That's why you get those morning headaches. That's why your hands shake. Your brain isn't getting the blood it needs. And this happens quietly while you sleep, building up to something much worse. So here's what happens. When you take those big vitamin D pills, I'm talking about the 5,000 or 10,000 ones, your body starts sucking up calcium like crazy. All that extra calcium, it's gotta go somewhere. And guess where it goes? Straight into your blood vessels. Picture this. You know how pipes get clogged up over time? Same thing happens to your arteries. All that calcium builds up inside them, makes them hard and narrow. And when that happens, blood clots form easier. Let me tell you about Elizabeth. She's 72, was a teacher down in San Antonio. Started taking 8,000 units of vitamin D every day for 2 years. Felt fine, no problems at all. Then her doctor checked her blood. Her calcium was sky high, 11.8. Should be between 8 and 10. 6 weeks later, boom, mini stroke while she was working in her garden. Here's the scary part. Most strokes happen in the morning. Your blood gets thick overnight from lying down. You're a little dehydrated. Add all that calcium buildup, perfect recipe for trouble. The safe amount is 4,000 units a day, but you can walk into any store and buy 10,000 unit bottles. No prescription needed. Harvard did research on this. Vitamin D poisoning has gone up 3 times in the last 10 years, and it's mostly seniors who thought they were being healthy. So that's vitamin D. But wait till you hear about the next one. This vitamin is supposed to help your heart. Instead, it can make your blood so thin that you bleed inside your brain. Ever notice unexplained bruises showing up on your arms or legs? Maybe you cut yourself shaving and the bleeding just won't stop? Or you bump into something lightly and end up with a bruise that lasts for weeks? These aren't just signs of fragile skin. They could mean your blood has become too thin from a vitamin that's supposed to protect your heart. Vitamin E, aka the heart helper. You've probably seen it everywhere. Good for circulation, good for your skin, protects against heart disease. Many people take it daily, especially if they're on heart medications. But here's the kicker. Adding vitamin E can turn your blood into water. That's why small cuts bleed forever. And the real danger? When blood vessels in your brain are this fragile, even a tiny bump or sudden blood pressure spike can cause bleeding inside your skull. Here's what vitamin E does. It thins your blood. Now, that might sound good for your heart, but think about this. Are you taking aspirin, blood pressure pills, maybe something like warfarin? Most seniors are on at least one of these. Add vitamin E on top, your blood gets way too thin. Let me tell you about Robert. He's 78, lives up in Cleveland, had some heart problems, so his doctor put him on a blood thinner called Plavix. Nothing unusual there. But Robert read somewhere that vitamin E was good for the heart, so he started taking 800 units every day. Well, it's a huge mistake. 3 months later, Robert woke up with the worst headache of his life. Couldn't think straight. His wife rushed him to the hospital. The CT scan showed bleeding inside his brain, not from high blood pressure, not from a fall. His blood had gotten so thin from mixing Plavix with all that vitamin E that a tiny blood vessel in his brain just gave out. According to research in the New England Journal of Medicine, this happens more than you'd think. They studied thousands of people taking blood thinners, the ones also taking high-dose vitamin E. They had 40% more brain bleeds. Here's the kicker. You only need about 15 milligrams of vitamin E per day. That's like 22 units. But most bottles in the store have 400, 800, even 1,000 units. No warnings about blood thinners, nothing. Robert survived, but he's not the same. Walks with a cane now. His memory's not what it was. All because nobody told him that vitamin E and blood thinners don't mix. Vitamin E can thin your blood too much, but our next vitamin does something even worse. It's supposed to help your nerves, but it can actually destroy them forever. Now here's one that really gets me mad. Vitamin B6. They sell it everywhere as a nerve helper, brain booster, and energy pill. However, here's the truth nobody wants to tell you. Take too much of this stuff, and it can destroy your nerves permanently. And I mean permanently. You've probably seen those bottles at the pharmacy. Nerve support formula, brain health complex. They all have B6 in them. Big doses too, and it makes sense to buy them, right? Your feet are tingling, your hands feel numb sometimes. Must be your nerves getting old. So you think, hey, maybe this will help. Wrong, dead wrong. Here's what happens with B6. Unlike other vitamins that just flush out when you pee, this one builds up in your body. And when it builds up too much, it starts eating away at your nerves. Think of it like acid on a wire. It strips away the protective coating around your nerves. Let me tell you about Margaret. She's 74, lives in Phoenix, started having tingling in her feet, thought it was diabetes. So she went to the store and bought something called diabetic nerve support. Sounded perfect, right? What she didn't know was each pill had 100 milligrams of B6. She was taking 2 pills a day. That's 200 milligrams. How much do you actually need? About 2 milligrams a day. She was taking 100 times more than she needed. After 8 months, Margaret couldn't feel her feet at all, started falling, couldn't button her shirts anymore. Her hands were so numb she couldn't hold a coffee cup. When she finally got to a specialist, her B6 levels were through the roof. The damage was already done. There's research from the University of Miami that followed over 400 people with B6 toxicity. Most of them were seniors taking nerve support supplements. The scary part? Even after they stopped taking the B6, only about half got better. The other half? Permanent nerve damage. Margaret is one of the unlucky ones. 3 years later, she still uses a walker, still can't feel her hands properly, all from a vitamin she thought would help her nerves. The safe limit for B6 is 10 milligrams a day if you're over 65, but you can buy pills with 50, 100, even 200 milligrams. No prescription needed, no warnings. Now, if nerve damage wasn't concerning enough, there's another vitamin that can create pressure inside your skull, mimicking the symptoms of a brain tumor or stroke. This next one might be sitting in your medicine cabinet right now, marketed for healthy vision. Okay, vitamin A. The eyesight vitamin, right? Good for your eyes, good for your skin. Sounds harmless enough. Well, here's what they don't tell you. Too much vitamin A doesn't just hurt your eyes, it can actually squeeze your brain and make you think you're having a stroke. Vitamin A is in everything these days. Your multivitamin has it. Those skin supplements have tons of it. Eye health formulas are loaded with it, and here's the problem. Your body can't get rid of it like other vitamins. It just sits there, building up month after month, year after year, and nobody warns you about what happens when you get too much. Here's the thing about vitamin A. It's what doctors call fat soluble. That means it gets stored in your body fat and your liver. It doesn't wash out when you go to the bathroom like vitamin C does. So every day you take that vitamin A pill, a little more builds up inside you. When you get too much, something really scary happens. The pressure inside your skull starts going up. It's like someone slowly inflating a balloon inside your head. You get headaches that won't quit. Your vision gets blurry. You feel dizzy and sick to your stomach. Sounds like a stroke, doesn't it? Let me tell you about Carol. She's 69, lives in Tampa, been taking what she called her beauty vitamins for 5 years. Big doses of vitamin A for her skin and eyes, about 10,000 units every day. One morning, she woke up with the worst headache of her life. Couldn't see straight, started throwing up. Her daughter rushed her to the emergency room. They thought it was a stroke, did all the scans. No clot, no bleeding, but the pressure in her brain was through the roof. Turns out it was something called pseudotumor cerebri. That's doctor talk for fake brain tumor. The vitamin A had built up so much it was literally squeezing her brain. According to the Journal of Neurology, this happens more than you'd think. They studied 200 cases of this fake brain tumor thing. Half of them were from taking too much vitamin A. Most were seniors taking skin and eye supplements. Here's what's really crazy. You only need about 700 units of vitamin A per day if you're a woman, 900 if you're a man. But those skin supplements, they can have 10,000, 15,000, even 25,000 units, and people take them for years. Carol got lucky. They caught it before permanent damage, but she still gets headaches. Her vision's not quite right, and she's off vitamin A forever. As dangerous as vitamin A can be, there's one more vitamin that deserves your attention. This final one is often prescribed by doctors for heart health, but it can cause dramatic swings in blood pressure that put your brain at serious risk, especially in the early morning hours when strokes are most common. Here's our final vitamin, and it might be the most deceptive of all. Niacin, also known as vitamin B3, is often recommended by doctors and cardiologists for lowering cholesterol. It seems medically approved and heart healthy. Sounds legit, right? But here's the thing nobody mentions. This vitamin can cause dangerous blood pressure swings that dramatically increase your stroke risk, particularly during those vulnerable early morning hours. Trigger a stroke faster than you can blink. Unlike the other vitamins we've discussed, niacin often comes with medical blessing. Cardiologists prescribe it, heart-healthy supplements feature it prominently, and many seniors take it believing they're following sound medical advice. This makes niacin particularly dangerous because people take higher doses with greater confidence, not realizing they're putting their brain at risk with every pill. Here's what niacin does. First, it makes all your blood vessels open up wide. That's why your face gets red and hot when you take it. That's called the niacin flush. But then, about an hour later, those same blood vessels snap back shut, tighter than before. Think of it like this. You're squeezing a garden hose, then letting go, then squeezing again, over and over. What happens to that hose? It gets damaged. Same thing happens to your blood vessels. Let me tell you about Frank. He's 81, lives down in Miami, had high cholesterol for years. His doctor mentioned niacin might help. So Frank went to the health store and bought some natural cholesterol support pills. Each one had 1,000 milligrams of niacin. He was taking 2 a day. That's 2,000 milligrams. How much do you actually need? About 16 milligrams a day. Frank was taking over 100 times what his body needed. After 2 months, Frank started getting dizzy every morning, hot flashes in his face. His blood pressure would spike to 190, then crash down to 110. His wife was worried sick. Then one morning, Frank couldn't talk right. Words came out all jumbled. His left arm felt weak. Mini stroke. Right there at the breakfast table. Research from the Mayo Clinic looked at over 15,000 people taking high-dose niacin. The ones over 70, they had twice as many strokes and heart attacks as people not taking it. The blood pressure roller coaster was just too much for their old blood vessels to handle. The crazy part? Most people taking niacin don't even know how much they're getting. It's hidden in those heart health formulas. Cholesterol support complex. Could be 500, 1,000, even 1,500 milligrams per pill. Frank survived his stroke, but he's scared now. Won't take any supplements at all. And honestly, he's probably safer that way. Now that we've walked through these 5 dangerous vitamins, you might be wondering what you should do instead. The answer isn't more pills or different supplements. It's returning to something your body actually recognizes and can use safely. Real whole foods that protect your brain without the hidden risks. You might be wondering, should I just throw away all my vitamins? Or how do I know if what I'm taking is safe? These are the exact questions I hear from patients every single day, and they deserve honest, balanced answers. After hearing about all these vitamin dangers, it's natural to feel confused or even scared about what's safe to take. You might be looking at your medicine cabinet right now, wondering if everything in there is a potential threat. But here's the thing, your body wasn't designed to run on isolated, concentrated nutrients from pills. It was built to extract what it needs from real food in the right amounts at the right time. Let me be crystal clear about this. Vitamins aren't the enemy. The problem isn't vitamins themselves, it's how we use them. Think of vitamins like prescription medications. They can heal or they can harm, depending on the dose, timing, and your individual health situation. Here's what I've learned from treating thousands of seniors over the years. The safest approach is always the simplest one. Most of us get plenty of vitamins from food if we eat a balanced diet. Those colorful fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains aren't just filling your stomach. They're delivering nutrients in exactly the right amounts your body recognizes. What makes food so much safer than pills is something called nutritional synergy. When you eat a sweet potato, you're not just getting beta-carotene. You're also getting fiber that slows absorption, potassium that supports blood pressure, and dozens of other compounds that help your body use the nutrients safely. But I understand that sometimes food isn't enough. Maybe you have absorption issues, dietary restrictions, or your doctor has identified a specific deficiency. That's when targeted supplementation makes sense, but always under professional guidance. The key word here is targeted. Instead of taking a handful of different supplements, work with your healthcare provider to identify what you actually need through blood tests and proper evaluation. This isn't about depriving yourself of nutrients, it's about getting them safely and effectively. Remember, your body at 65 or 75 processes everything differently than it did at 35. Lower doses often work better, timing matters more, and interactions with medications become much more serious. The most powerful medicine for seniors isn't found in a pill bottle. It's found in real whole foods that your body recognizes and can use safely. The goal isn't perfect health through pills. It's sustainable wellness through informed choices. Here's the bottom line. At 60, 70, or 80, your body doesn't process supplements the same way it did when you were younger. Your liver works harder, your kidneys filter differently, and medications you're already taking can interact with vitamins in ways that put your brain at serious risk. Your brain health doesn't depend on expensive supplements or complicated routines. It thrives on simple, consistent choices. Good sleep, regular movement, real food, staying connected with people you care about. These basics matter more than any pill ever will. Remember, taking control of your health doesn't mean taking more supplements. Sometimes it means taking fewer, but taking them smarter. If any part of this video spoke to you, tell me in the comments. What's one change you'll make starting tomorrow? Maybe you'll check the labels on your supplements, or perhaps you'll add more brain-healthy foods to your meals. Your experience could help someone else make a life-saving decision. And please subscribe so we can keep learning, growing, and staying strong together. Remember, you're not alone on this journey, and you're never too old to take back control of your health. Your brain, your independence, and your family are counting on the choices you make today. Choose wisely, choose safely, and choose food first.